Yeah. From the first word spoken to the last amen. Look, day one, I believe in the Father, maker of the heavens and the holler. Seen things unseen in the silence, whole world in his hands, that's balance. Light, land, oceans in order, skylines stretch past borders. Every breath, every law that's written came from the mind that isn't limited by minutes or distant. Feminine wisdom, perfect existence, one throne, no rival in the system. Alpha in the code, I listen. We believe, say it out loud. One God, one Son, one Spirit in the crowd. From the throne to the grave, then he rose in three. Whole church stand up, this is our creed. We believe, heart on sleeve. Every line in my soul like ink that bleed. From the first I believe to the last, amen. That's the truth we stand on. Say it again. Only one sin, true God, true flesh, that's intent. Born from a woman, promised in the womb, royal in the manger, glory in the gloom. Walked dust, felt hunger in the heat, love wore sandals in the street. Spoke like storm, heard wind, froze, touch of his hand, blind eyes rose. For I say, took the blame, that's in it. Cross on his back, that's penance. Laid in the grave, don't shut dark deep. Third day, sun up, death fell asleep. Woo. Lifted up, backseated with the Father. All things under him, why bother? Running from grace when the gate wide, he'll come blazing. Judge day, no size. We believe, hey. Say it out loud. One God, one Son, one Spirit in the crowd. From the throne to the grave, then he rose in three. Whole church stand up, this is our creed. We believe, heart on sleeve. Every line in my soul, I ain't that bleed. From the first I believe to the last, amen. That's the truth we stand on. Say it again. I believe in the Spirit, breathe in the lungs. Fire in the room when the praise gets sung. Oh yeah. Prophets write songs, holy, holy sets us apart. One church, one hope, one birth. Forgiveness reigning on this earth. Grace gonna crack when he calls our names. New life, new body, no shame. We believe, say it out loud. One God, one Son, one Spirit in a crowd. From the throne to the grave, then he rose in three. Whole church stand up, this is our creed. We believe, heart on sleeve. Every line in my soul like ink that bleeds. From the first I believe to the last, amen. That's the truth we stand on. Say it again.
There comes a time in every man's life when he must need something. He must need people to know how unbelievably frickin' right he is. It's tough to put into words how incredibly right I am. Literally all of the time. It's so difficult to actually frick off. It's so difficult to actually speak words as to how right I am. Mankind has not developed the language yet for me to actually put into words how unbelievably right that I can be. When I first said that Travis Kelce marrying Taylor Swift would have an enormous impact on the culture and would be one of the single greatest things for marriage and children, I was mocked. I was derided. And then a poll came out shortly after their engagement that 63% of Taylor Swift fans were considering marriage now that she had gotten engaged. And I launched into a 5-minute monologue about how unbelievably right I was at the time. I was so vindicated. So unbelievably vindicated. I have been vindicated once more. See, this article by CNN, 14 hours ago, reflecting on the Friday wedding, already vindicating me. The headline itself, we don't even need to read the article, just the headline itself. Taylor Swift's wedding may change how couples think about their big day. Oh yes, CNN. You actually got something right. It will. It will cause a shift towards marriage. Because culture is downstream of culture. Everybody always talks about, is culture downstream of politics or politics downstream of culture? The answer, firstly, is yes. But secondly, lies in a greater fact. Culture is downstream of culture. Politics is downstream of politics. They are all downstream of one another, like some beautiful, topical, incestuous aurora boreas. Holy frick. And all of it just vindicates me more. I watched the viewer count of this stream go down when I launched into my next monologue about how right I am. And you know what? I don't care. I don't care. Because none of you can possibly understand how right I am. And that is truly what matters. Look at me. You can't begin to comprehend the level of right that I am. Look at me. Gaze upon my cavernous brain, whose wrinkles are deep and wide, like the Grand Canyon, except sexier. The wetness of my brain could be compared to the ocean, except deeper. I'm so unbelievably right. This whole article, I didn't even read it. I didn't even read it. But I know it makes me right. Their wedding is not even a week past. Their marriage is not even a week old. And yet, I have been vindicated again. My ability to be correct is insatiable, unyielding, unstoppable. I made another 5 minute. Actually, that was kind of like almost a 6-minute rant about how right I was. Welcome to the Content Offend live stream. 9.5 minutes in, and I haven't even sniffed the topic yet. That's not true. I did mention incest. That's related to Islam, but that's a story for another time. Muhammad married his own son's wife. Boy, wow, it feels weird to be talking about Islam again. Feels like it was just yesterday that Ram It Down Ramadan was at the forefront of our conversation here at Called to Defend, and yet we are back. Finally, Jihadi July. We had Mormon May. That was fun. That was great. Learned a lot. Still learning a lot. Still reading about LDS. We had Jehovah's Witness June. That was fun. A lot of fun for me personally. Josh, he didn't really enjoy it as much, but I had a great time, and by the viewer count, y'all did too. But we are back. We are back with Jihadi July. And what a way to kick it off. So I saw this story while I was doing research for something else. I think I was doing LDS research. And I saw that Trump made a post. The president of the United States made a post that he was just getting torn apart for. And the headline grabbed my attention because I knew Jihadi July was coming up. And initially, I had planned to do what now Thursday, God willing, we will do. I think Josh is back for that one, and he wanted to talk about it, so that'll work out well. Which is Muslims moving from stage 1 to stage 2, and I think we're gonna watch Matt Frad's video on it with Mike Jones, and I think Mike Jones actually has an incorrect take there. I think he's just wrong on that front. I think we've gone from stage 1 to stage 2 Muslim here in America. But that's going to be Thursday. This I saw, and I didn't have time in that moment to go over it. But I knew people were upset because Trump was allegedly going after kindergartners. And that intrigued me, but I didn't have time to look at it. But I was sitting on it, and so I read the initial comments of he's attacking kindergartners for their religion, and I was like, wow, if that's true, that's really messed up. And then I read his post. Let me preface it this way. I lost tremendous respect for Donald Trump when he posted that image of himself clearly meant to be Jesus. I have to say it. This is potentially the most brilliant tweet I've ever seen in my life. And literally every single outlet missed it. Every single one. His wording was so careful. It was so careful. And everyone missed it. And I mean everyone missed it. First order of business. Look at this man. This is the face of a man who knew what he was doing in that moment. I don't even think this photo is of him making this tweet, but it should have been. That's the exact face you have to have when making that tweet. Because that face says, I know how everybody's going to take this, and they're going to miss completely what I just did. Trump, to their faces, just called every single Muslim a pedophile. To their faces. And the media completely missed it. There is an actual story here, right? For anybody who knows Islam, there is an actual story here. That actual story is not that Trump was mean to little kids. That actual story is, oh, he just called them all pedophiles to their face. Blatantly, openly, to their face. That's just hilarious. So, firstly, I'm getting this image here from People Magazine's article, right? Oh, no. Sorry, this is the Irish Star. Right, so this is where I first read this. This is where I first found out about it. Which my immediate thought was, why is the Irish Star commenting? It's not their country, question mark. But I was like, all right, well, Trump is the world leader. He is the head of the global hegemon. It kind of makes sense that foreign countries are commenting on this. We're going to see a trend here with a few of the media articles I pulled, and they're all the same. They're all the same. Right? And the trend is this opening line here, right? This is the first line of the article. President Donald Trump sparked fresh outrage on Monday when he took Truth Social to attack kindergartners in Minnesota for allegedly being Muslim. Now, hang on. Right there, that's not what the Post said. The Post is way funnier than that. The Post isn't. I'm not here to defend Trump by any means. Right? Like, if he had made a post actually attacking kindergartners, that would be awful, right? Like the post he made when Rob Reiner was killed. That was awful. Truly. That was a despicable thing to do. That's not what he did here. And anybody who is reading that is completely missing what Trump just did. Completely missing. He just called every single Muslim a pedophile to their face. Blatantly. And every single mainstream media personality missed it. I have not seen one correct take on this. Again, he had the funniest possible wording specifically. Right. So let's see if they even have the post here. I don't think they had it. Oh yeah, here we go. So this right here, there is a photo of a kindergarten graduation in Minnesota, right? You can see kindergarten on their stoles, and they're very obviously young children. Now, not all of them is wearing a hijab, right? Trump says every girl is in a hijab. Not all of them are. But look at what he says there. Every girl is in a hijab, ... in kindergarten. Now, the mainstream media descended on this as he's attacking Muslims. Trump is a racist. That's not what he said. The emphasis is not on every girl is in a hijab. Now, you can certainly go with that angle, right? And be like, I mean, guys, it's Minnesota. Why is every girl in a hijab? That's not where the emphasis is. The ellipses there is doing a lot of work. Because if you just take off those last two words, sure, this post might seem odd or specifically targeting Muslims in the way that the mainstream media is saying it is. If you take off those last two words are what he wanted you to focus on. And you, mainstream media, missed it completely. Every girl is in a hijab in kindergarten. That's what comes after the ellipses. The ellipses is meant to lead you to focus on the in kindergarten. Why is that a big deal? Because what the hijab means. The hijab is not like necessarily the kippah, right, which is a Jewish head covering, or the yarmulke. It's not, right? It's not like an ornamental veil that one might wear to church. Right? It's not a headscarf like in African countries where that's the culture. The hijab is a specific head covering. it has a purpose. But hey, right? Maybe it's just the Irish Star that's missing it, right? So, the Irish Star, they go on to say, um, they go on to talk about his uh, recent tiff with Georgia Maloney. And then they basically are just calling him racist. So here you go, right? So several others called the president's comment. They cite like a bunch of X users, which, I mean, respectfully, who cares? So like right here, Trump is now using his platform to attack kindergartners because they are Muslim. Guys, it didn't attack the kindergartners. He didn't condemn the girls. Right? Like everybody was missing this. But let's pop over to People magazine, for example. Right? So, People magazine. Same thing. Trump attacks group of joyful kindergarten graduates over their religion, which, like, wow. I mean, what an article title. Holy crap, guys. I mean, that's out there, dog. And it's not even what the point of his message was, which is so funny. Right? So they give you here. Go away. There we go. They give you the need to know, right? The TLDR. President Donald Trump reshared a social media post attacking Muslim children for wearing hijabs during their kindergarten graduation. That's not what it said. Excuse me. Right? So public school in St. Paul, Minnesota. Every girl is in a hijab in kindergarten, the original poster wrote alongside a video of the kids. Right? Trump had previously called Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar and other Somali immigrants garbage. I don't recall specifically. That's good they blurred out the photo. They probably should have on the Irish Star, but too little too late. Just protecting kids online. So I don't recall that specific comment. If he did, I'd need context. And if he was just generally calling them garbage, that's probably not the best thing to do. I don't recall that specific incident. I don't recall that specific comment. Regarding Ilhan Omar being garbage, there's a little bit more. Oh yeah, okay. So they actually go over it. Sorry, I didn't read the full People article. I honestly just read their TLDR because their TLDR told me everything I needed to know. That they had also missed the point. But we have last December, Trump came under fire after calling Minnesota Rep Ilhan Omar and Somali immigrants garbage, which again, Ilhan Omar, during a televised cabinet meeting before going on to suggest that they should go back where they came from. I always find this kind of funny that people get offended by that. And it's like, guys, you are literally celebrating their holidays in your streets, right? You are telling them to come and to bring their culture. Well, their culture is what made their country so terrible, right? So either they should go back to where they want to make America, right? That being Somalia, or they should come here and assimilate to our values. You can't have your cake and eat it too. But irregardless, and he says, I don't want them in our country. He said, well, speaking at the end of a 2-hour-long session at the White House, I'll be honest with you. Somebody will say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Okay, so that's the thing they're setting this as, right? It's Trump being racist, Islamophobic, attacking kindergartners for their religion, right? That's people's take. Case in point. Group of joyful kindergarten graduates over their religion. That's just hilarious. Like, I mean, that is just amazing phrasing, and props to People magazine for just going above and beyond there. But it's not just the media. It's Tim Walz too. Right? So Tim Walz is the governor of Minnesota, for those who don't know. He's doing a bang up job of it, guys. So much fraud is happening in that state. He literally had to suspend his re-election campaign because it was just too much fraud, which is hilarious. It's awesome. We're doing great over here. The article KTTC, I believe, is local Minnesota news station, question mark. I really don't know. So St. Paul, Minnesota, a Minnesota mention by President Donald Trump on his social media platform Truth Social Monday has the state's governor responding. The attire of kindergartners at a St. Paul school. Now that is true. That is what Trump wanted you to focus on. Or I guess really more so end wokeness, and then Trump retweets it. That's what they want you to focus on, is the attire of the children. Not even necessarily the religion, but the attire. There's a difference. There's a specific difference. So they go on to say the president shared a post on his page from the right-wing social media account and wokeness. The content included a brief video clip of a group of kindergartners singing on their graduation day in June, and wokeness added the caption, public school in St. Paul, Minnesota. Every girl is in a hijab, ... in kindergarten, right? That's the focus, in kindergarten. And so then skip that. That doesn't matter. Governor Tim Walz responded Monday to the post. The president of the United States is attacking a group of kindergartners because of clothes they wore to school. No, Timmy. This was the focus. That's the important thing. That's very important. I keep saying that. Why is it important that they're in kindergarten? It's because of why they wear a hijab. Why does a Muslim wear a hijab? And so I have a article here from Rewalk. It is a Muslim site. They advertise Quran studies on their website. And this is their take on why women wear hijabs. Right? So, of course, it's me. I found an article. We'll go through, we'll read the article and see why this might be a little bit of a problem. Quote, the hijab serves as a multifaceted symbol in Islam, embodying modesty, obedience to Allah, and personal empowerment, which LOL. By wearing the hijab, Muslim women adhere to divine guidance, foster a deeper spiritual connection, and assert their identity beyond societal beauty standards. This practice not only offers protection from unwanted attention. You guys should probably start to see where this is going, but also promotes equality by emphasizing inner virtues over outward appearance. Ultimately, the hijab is a personal choice that reflects a woman's faith. I will point out that if you are not wearing a hijab in a Muslim country, they will beat you to death. Dignity and commitment to her beliefs. Right. So actually, I'm curious, does it say when this was written? 2025. I would have thought it was way earlier than that, because this is very much a Muhammad is like a feminist kind of vibe, which is like early aughts argument. So I'm surprised that was written so recently. Must be we're recycling content. So, okay. Here we go. Number one, to have a hijab from the evil eyes. The main purpose of the hijab is to shield women from harmful gaze. What do you think that means, guys? It means the male gaze, right? It's to hide them from men lusting after them, right? Men who may want to rape them. That's why the hijab is worn. Are you catching on to the problem here? If you have kindergartners wearing garments to protect them from men who want to rape them, are you seeing the problem here? Let's keep going. And Allah mentions this in saying, and let them not stamp their feet to make known what they conceal of their adornment, and turn to Allah in repentance, all of you, O believers, that you might succeed. Number two, wisdom. Muslim women, don't know where that came from, wear hijab for promoting modesty. Yes, your kindergartners must promote modesty. The hijab encourages women to dress modestly on the outside by requiring them to wear revealing, neither flashy nor showing clothing. Oh my goodness, neither flashy nor showy clothing. A hijab should cover the neck, chest, and hair. The wearer should dress modestly and simply to avoid drawing too much attention from men. Kindergartners. Kindergartners need to dress this way to avoid drawing too much attention from men. That's the issue with the hijab. In addition, the hijab promotes spiritual modesty since it shows that a woman accepts and complies with the law's instructions. It motivates the woman to act modestly as a sign of respect for her headscarf and deepens her relationship with the law. The hijab is a symbol of modesty, which is a core value in Islam, unless it's your adopted son's wife, in which case it's a-okay. It encourages women to focus on their inner qualities rather than their physical appearance, right? The kindergartners. And then they say the Quran emphasizes and tell the believing women to lower their gaze and guard their chastity and not reveal their adornments except what normally appears. Kindergartners. By covering up their bodies and hair, Muslim women uphold the Islamic principle of modesty and protect their dignity. Kindergartner. I'm just going to keep saying that because it needs to be said. I need to get that point across. They're saying this about children 6 and under. So, basically Muhammad's target demographic. Because if you guys don't know, Muhammad married a 6-year-old. He didn't sleep with her until she was 9. So, he at least waited 3 years before he raped her. And yes, it is rape. A 9-year-old cannot consent to that. Number 3, ultra sense of protection from harassment. The hijab serves as a shield against unwanted attention and harassment. It helps women maintain their privacy and discourages objectification of kindergartners. By covering themselves, Muslim women create a barrier that commands respect and reduces the likelihood of being judged solely based on their appearance while they attend kindergarten. Muslim women who wear the hijab can free themselves from the self-serving desire to demonstrate their attractiveness to their kindergarten classmates, or I don't know, maybe the Muslim men that are around. The kindergarten. Also, wearing a hijab frees a woman from the social pressures to perform to expectations in kindergarten. She is no longer dependent on other people's approval of her appearance to win their respect in kindergarten. I'm just going to keep saying that because if you put the context of what happened in Minnesota, that's really bad. It sounds really bad because guess what, guys? It's really, really, really bad. Allah says that it is more suitable, or that is more suitable, that they will be known to, ? That they will be known and not abused, and ever is Allah forgiving and merciful. According to the passage, the hijab shields Muslim women from assault and abuse. So I want to just highlight that line for a second. Think about what that just claimed. This is the article claiming it. This is not me. This is not me just saying this. This is a Muslim article saying this. That Muslim men are so out of control that the women need to wear a hijab in order to not be raped and abused and sexually assaulted and harassed. That's the Muslim article's case. And that's what the children in kindergarten. The 4 to 6 year olds, actually, they're graduating, so probably 5 and 6 year olds, must be protected from. That's the point of that statement. Every girl is in a hijab, ... in kindergarten. They need to be protected in kindergarten from being raped and abused. That is the Muslim argument, not mine. That is awful. That is truly just disgusting. I was going to put a word there, but I don't think I probably should. That is just disgusting. Continuing on. In addition, most of the time, guys assume that women are expecting them when they show off their bodies. However, males are alerted to the fact that a woman is modest when she wears a headscarf. Thus, it is important to treat her with dignity and avoid upsetting her. On the other hand, Muslim women use the hijab as a kind of protection in several regions of the world. Gee, I wonder why. Covering yourself and donning a hijab usually keeps you hidden and out of the spotlight, which reduces the likelihood of harassment and offensive remarks from men while you're in kindergarten. Furthermore, some culture plays a vital role in obligating the hijab on their women. For example, there should be a period there. For example, Muslim women are forced to wear it by law in some countries, even if they do not agree with its style. And right there. So remember, they said it promoted freedom and identity and equality. This entire point just contradicted that. Because the men in Muslim countries cannot control themselves, because they are basically told not to control themselves, right? That's in the Quran. Right? The Quran makes this argument that women are inferior, that they are half as intelligent, that their testimony is worth half as much, that men are superior to women. That is the Muslim argument, that they are of lesser value. Right? Muhammad famously said that the majority of people in hell are women. And it is due to their deficiency. That was his statement. So when they say that, it promotes equality, that is a lie. That is taqiyya. Right? Taqiyya is this idea in Islam that you can lie to spread the faith. Riwak here is engaging in that fully. Fully. The article continues on. We don't need to really hammer home the point. They say that it's because of their obedience to Allah, right? And that it helps them cultivate their spiritual life. They then try to make the argument for empowerment and identity. So actually, I do want to read this part. Hang on. Contrary to the misconception that the hijab oppresses women, many Muslim women find it empowering. The ones that are allowed to speak. Because in many Muslim countries, women cannot speak unless their husband allows them to. It allows them to define themselves by their character and intellect rather than their physical beauty. Their character and intellect that they're not allowed to express without their husband's permission. The hijab is a statement of identity. Oh, you got that right. Reflecting their pride in being Muslim. No, just their desire not to be beaten to death. And their refusal to conform to societal pressures. Refusal to conform to societal pressures. Muslim women are forced to wear it by law in some countries, even if they do not agree with its style. That is a conforming to social pressure, to societal pressure, whichever you want to call it. This article contradicts itself within 3 paragraphs. Hijabs are not empowering. They are put on women to control them. Because men are trained in Muslim countries not to control themselves. There's the very famous case of revenge rape, which is that if a Muslim woman is raped, then her rapist's sister can be raped as revenge for the initial rape. That's freaking awful. I want to use another word there, but Josh would really not be happy if I did. He's kind of the boss of this channel. Women are not seen as equals in the Quran, in the Hadith, in any Muslim society all over the world. If you are told that, again, it is taqiyya. It is a lie. They are lying to promote their faith. It is an official doctrine that you can lie. That is an official doctrine of Islam. It is called taqiyya. Look it up. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. Look it up for yourself. Do the research yourself. But again, let's focus on what the point being made here is, right? It's to focus on inner beauty. It is to protect the women from harassment, or in this case, children in kindergarten. It is trying to protect children in kindergarten from being harassed by adult men. That's the point of the post. Every girl is in a hijab, ellipses, in kindergarten. The focus is on the in kindergarten, because this is a religion that was started by a pedophile. He married a 6-year-old and then raped her when she was 9. She was not pubescent yet. Some will say that she was. She wasn't. She was playing with her dolls, which is haram. It is haram for you to play with your dolls if you have reached puberty. She was playing with her dolls when she was taken to the Prophet and raped. And it is rape, again, because a 9-year-old cannot consent. This is disgusting. This is truly and genuinely awful. And to prove to you that I'm not just making this up, we will look at the Quran. And so this is Surah Al-Ahzab. This is Ayat 59. And we'll read, I think probably, I think we're going to start in Ayat 58 and read through probably 60. So this is the Quran, right? I am on Quran.com. This is actually what it says. Now keep in mind, we are talking about kindergartners, children, 5 and 6-year-olds. This is what the Quran has to say for why they have to wear the hijab. Quote, as for those who abuse believing men and women unjustifiably, they will definitely bear the guilt of slander and blatant sin. O Prophet, ask your wives, daughters, and believing women to draw their cloaks over their bodies. In this way, it is more likely that they will be recognized as virtuous and not be harassed. And Allah is all merciful, most forgive, or all forgiving, most merciful. The kindergartners have to wear the hijab so they will not be harassed. Islam has a huge pedophile problem. A massive pedophile problem. That 5 and 6-year-olds have to wear hijab so they are not harassed. Continuing on, we have another surah. This is Surah An-Nur. This is Ayat 31. Right, but actually, let's back up. Let's back up. Let's see. Okay, so we'll start in 27. So this is Surah An-Nur, which is the 24th surah. Sorry, and Al-Ahzab was the 33rd surah. Surah An-Nur, Ayat 27, and we'll read for a little bit. O believers, do not enter any house other than your own until you have asked permission and greeted its occupants. This is best for you, so perhaps you will be mindful. If you find no one at home, do not enter it until you have been given permission. And if you are asked to leave, then leave. That is purer for you, and Allah has perfect knowledge of what you do. excuse me, there is no blame if you enter public places where there is something of benefit for you, and Allah knows what you reveal and what you conceal. O Prophet, tell the believing men to lower their gaze and guard their chastity. That is purer for them. Surely Allah is all aware of what they do, right? So this is saying that in order to be chaste, men have to just lower their gaze, right? They just have to not look at women. So surely women, in order to be chaste, just have to not look at men, right? And no reason for there to be a different standard or anything. Oh, wow, that's a lot more. And tell the believing women to lower their gaze and guard their chastity. Okay, same thing. And not to reveal their adornments except what normally appears. Let them draw their veils over their chests and not reveal their hidden adornments except to their husbands, their fathers, their father-in-law. Why? Their sons, their stepsons, their brothers' sons or sisters' sons, their fellow women, those bondwomen in nakedness, or in their possession, excuse me, male attendants with no desire, or children who are still unaware of women's nakedness. Let them not stomp their feet, drawing attention to their hidden adornments. Turn to Allah and repentance altogether, O believers, so that you may be successful. So men in order to be chaste just have to, not look at women. Women cannot look at men and then must cover themselves up except for this list of men and women. Keep in mind, we are discussing kindergartners. The kindergartners were following these instructions. Why do the kindergartners have to remain chaste? They're 5 years old. They're not thinking about those things. They're not lusting. No one should be lusting after them. And if he is, he should be put to death. Simple as that. Sorry, get a little worked up there. But this is being applied to kindergartners. It's telling kindergartners that they will draw attention to their hidden adornments, that being their physical features, right? Their bodies. Kindergartners, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds. That's what this is referring to. Sorry, that's what the post is referring to, is this idea that they have to guard themselves because they will be sexually harassed otherwise. It gets worse. You might not think that's possible, but it does. So here we have a video done by good old D Wood. This was half a year ago. And this video was, shall we say, eye-opening, staggering. Right. So the video here that we're going to play is about 12 minutes long. We'll probably get through all of it just because I don't plan on stopping it a ton. Just enough for David Wood not to copyright claim me. Because that would suck. Excuse me. The video here is going to describe Islamic heaven. And for that, I need to put a warning label. We've been talking about a lot of serious stuff here, okay? I recognize that. And I probably should have slapped a warning label on the front of this episode, but I'm guessing if you're clicking on this live stream, you probably don't have kids in the room. If you do, and you somehow haven't taken them out yet, please do so. Because the Islamic view of paradise and heaven, as the title suggests, makes Epstein Island look like actual paradise compared to the stuff that Islamic heaven discusses. It's disgusting, it's shameful, but it needs to be talked about. So, without further ado,
Epstein Island was like Disney World for
without my headphones, I can't hear him. Oops. 1 second, y'all. Nothing but professionalism. Beautiful.
rich and powerful perverts, because non-rich, non-powerful perverts would just go to Disney World.
Say, you want to come inside my clubhouse?
There are only two types of people in America: those who wanted the Epstein files released and those who were in the Epstein files. But why were so many people interested in seeing what's in these files? Why was this such an important issue? Well, when we hear about a man offering his influential friends and acquaintances a twisted paradise where they can have their way with young girls, we want to know who was involved. And since Epstein was apparently recording his friends and acquaintances in compromising positions in case he needed to blackmail them, we want to know who was being extorted and what they may have done to keep Epstein happy. But here's what's interesting. As sick and depraved as Epstein and his island paradise were, they're an absolute joke compared to Allah and his eternal paradise. Allah is the ultimate Epstein, and you're about to find out why. I'm sure you've heard of the houris Muslims will be given in paradise. These are the virgins, Muslim men.
So that's referring to the very famous ideology of Islam that you will, if you are a jihadi who dies, right? So that would be a soldier of Allah who dies in combat, who dies, quote unquote, for the cause of Allah. Then you will be given 72 virgins to eternally deflower, quote unquote, as well. Right. So eternally, you will be given 72 women for whom you can take their virginity from. And there are a few different schools of thought. Some think the virgins are replaced, but the general Islamic consensus is that their virginity is restored. Which I think David does mention here, but so that's what he's talking about.
Will spend eternity deflowering. We read about these houris in several passages of the Quran. Here's Surah 56, verses 10 to 40. And the foremost shall be the foremost. Wow, that's profound. They are the ones brought nigh in gardens of bliss, many from those of old and few from those of later times, upon embroidered couches, reclining upon them, facing one another. Immortal youths wait upon them with goblets, ewers, and a cup from a flowing spring, wherefrom they suffer neither headache nor stupefaction, with fruits as they choose, and the meat of birds as they desire. And there shall be wide-eyed maidens, the likeness of concealed pearls, as a recompense for that which they used to do. They hear no idle talk therein, nor incitement to sin, save that peace, peace is uttered. And the companions of the right, what of the companions of the right? Among thornless lote trees, clustered plantains, and extended shade, gushing water, and abundant fruit, neither out of reach nor forbidden, and upon raised beds. Truly, we brought them into being as a new creation, then made for them virgins, amorous peers, for the companions of the right, many from those of old, and many from those of later times.
So right there, that is saying, that is Muhammad, peace be upon him, saying that you will get all of these amazing things, and you will also get, quote unquote, wide-eyed maidens who have been created by Allah for the pleasure of men. Right? So that basically Allah creates virgins purely for sex. Right? That's the whole purpose of their existence, is just to pleasure men in paradise, which is gross. Like, that's just disgusting. I don't know what your picture of heaven is like. That ain't mine. I don't just want continual, unending sex. That honestly sounds like a lot of work and not very fun. As a man who has a child, hence the hat, I very much enjoy the act which makes a child. 72 women all doing that's too much work. I'm sorry, that's too much work. I'm good with my one woman. Helps that she's the most beautiful woman in the world, but I digress. This is what Islamic paradise is like. You can drink as much alcohol as you want. You will have servants, immortal youths as they are called. And then you will have as much sex as a human being could possibly ever handle. Not want, because I don't know that anybody outside of Muhammad actually wants this much sex, but you can have as much sex as possible. Is that better? I think that's honestly a little better than the theater mode. We just go full screen. So yeah, that's Muhammad's big claim, is that you can have more sex than you could ever possibly want, which again, gross. Anyways, we'll let D Wood continue on here.
So we've got the wide-eyed maidens who will be virgins. In his commentary on this passage, Ibn Kathir quotes Muhammad for more detail. The Messenger of Allah said, "In paradise, the believer will be given such and such strength for women." Anas said, "I asked, oh Allah's messenger, will one be able to do that?" He said, "He will be given the strength of 100 men. Just don't ask him how you get the strength of 100 men. Am I right? Someone else asked, "Oh Allah's messenger, will we have sexual intercourse with our wives in paradise?" He said, "The man will be able to have sexual intercourse with 100 virgins in one day." If you're wondering how Allah's not going to run out of virgins, keep in mind,
we went there from 72 to 100 virgins.
He's the best of planners. Here's what he's going to do. Every time you have sex with one of your virgins, Allah will turn her back into a virgin. As we read in Tafsir Jalalain, Quran verses in bold, explanation not in bold, "Verily, we have created them with an unmediated creation, namely the wide-eyed houris. We created them without the process of birth and made them virgins, immaculate. Every time their spouses enter them, they find them virgins, nor is there any pain of defloration." That's thoughtful. This is how a Muslim man can have sex with 100.
Yeah, so as he's raping the virgins in paradise, the Muslim man, that is, the nice thing is the women apparently don't feel any pain. So that's nice. Like David said, it's really nice of Allah to be so thoughtful as to allow. I just realized I have more options here that would probably work better for this style. Like, nope, not that one. Oh, where is it? Nope, not that. You get the frick back here. There it is. Ha! I did it. Yeah, so it's nice of Allah that he doesn't let the women, or he doesn't have the women feel pain as the Muslim men are raping them. That's really nice of him. I'm glad he's going out of his way to really make women so empowered, right? And so equal, and so just, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is there, but that he's not cruel to them, right? So at least as they're being raped, they're not feeling any pain. That's really awesome.
Virgins every day. Allah keeps restoring their virginity over and over and over forever. But what else do we know about these virgins? Turns out there's an interesting verse of the Quran that talks about their breasts, but the verse gets translated in very different ways. Here's Arbery's translation of Surah 78, verses 31 to 34. "Surely, for the God-fearing awaits a place of security, gardens and vineyards and maidens with swelling breasts, light of age, and a cup overflowing." Arbery translates this as maidens with swelling breasts. There are Muslims who think this verse is about large, fully developed breasts, and they'll say this means that the women are fully grown, somewhere around 33 years of age. But other translations say something quite different. Here's M.H. Shakir's translation. "Surely, for those who guard against evil is achievement, gardens and vineyards and those showing freshness of youth equals in age, and a pure cup." Shakir doesn't even mention breasts. Why is that? Well, as Muslim scholars have explained, Surah 78 verse 33 isn't about swelling breasts. It's about a stage of development. The verse is about...
Right. So let's kind of talk about that a little bit. Right. So the Bible contains language that refers, like specifically, I'm thinking Song of Solomon, right? Contains language that very much indicates that Solomon preferred his women on the more endowed side, let's say. And in particular, I believe it's chapter 7, he's very much showing that he likes his women well endowed. That's not what this is saying, right? So that's what some people think it's saying because it says swelling breasts. But as we're about to see, the swelling is not, that they're so big, that they're so big, but rather that they're actually the opposite of that. They're small. They're growing. Not when it's saying swelling, it's not saying swelling, it's saying like swelling, like they're starting to grow. There's a reason for that.
About girls with budding breasts. Their breasts are just starting to form. This is why Shakir translates it as those showing freshness of youth who are all the same age. But don't take my word for it. You can find this in various commentaries, but the Muslim scholars at Islam QA have put together a nice article for us. The article begins by pointing out that to understand the verse, you have to learn how the expression is used in Arabic. Then the scholars explain. Based on that,
So just real quick, this is the Islamic sources, right? These are Islamic scholars. This is what they're saying. This is not a Christian claim. This is not a secular claim. This is what Muslims who are experts in the subject matter say. Just so we're clear.
Say to you that with regard to the literal translation of the word kawaib, that's the word Arbery translated as swelling breasts because he didn't understand how it's used in Arabic, it is the plural of the word kaib, which refers to a female with developing breasts, as it says in Majmal al-Lugha. Ibn Faris, may Allah have mercy on him, said, Kab comes from a sound root that is indicative of a thing beginning to develop and emerge. From the same root comes the word kab, which refers to the ankle, which is the bone on the two sides of the lower leg where it meets the foot. And the word Kaaba, which refers to the house of Allah, may he be exalted. It is so called because of its prominence and its square shape. A woman is described as a kaib when her breasts begin to develop. And here are some sources. This is the literal meaning of the word in terms of linguistic roots. So the word kaib refers to a girl whose breasts are just starting to form, and it's related to the word kab, which refers to the little bone that sticks out on the side of your ankle. Then
So when it's talking about growing or swelling or budding breasts, it's not talking about fully developed. It's talking about children. Right? David's going to go through it in just a second here. But this is the reason that those kindergartners had to wear hijab. Because Muslim paradise, right? The ideal standard, because to die for the cause of Allah in Islam is the highest standard that one can achieve. That is the greatest thing that one can achieve according to Islam. And it's what Muhammad had hoped for in his whole life, was to die as a martyr. And then he said to be raised again, just to die as a martyr, then to be raised again and to die as a martyr again, and to be raised again and to die as a martyr. He goes on and on. He wants to die as a martyr, which is hilarious because he didn't. He died a shameful, sad, pathetic death. Honestly, comedic and completely his fault. But he's stating that the reward for the highest honor that you can achieve as a Muslim is eternal sex with 72 children. That's what he's saying. That is the highest good you can achieve as a Muslim, is eternal sex with 72 children. That is so far beyond disgusting. Unbelievably beyond disgusting. That is according to the Muslim sources, not a Christian claim. Not a polemical claim. Oh, it is a polemical claim, because obviously I'm going to take that and go, holy crap, you guys are disgusting. Look at what your stuff says. Right, but We are not making that up. That is the Muslim sources, the Muslim scholars that say that. I'll let David go on because he's going to explain it probably a little better than I can. But this is why those kindergartners had to wear a hijab. Because they are taught that pedophilia is a good thing. That's what Muslims are taught. They are taught that pedophilia is a good thing. Their own prophet married a 6-year-old. And then he rapes her when she's 9. Right about the age that these children would be. Right? So in Muhammad's mind, the 9-year-old is the perfect age. Right? That's the age in which you should sleep with a girl in paradise. And not just any girl, 72 of them. Is right at the age when he first sleeps with Aisha. I mean, that is just awful, dude. That is only awful. All right, we will let David keep going here. And might just close out the video, and we'll probably just let him talk about Tanner stage 2. I think he does that.
Scholars give an example of what they're talking about by showing how the Arabic word for menstruating can be used to mean literally menstruating or to refer to a stage of development, someone who's reached the age of menstruation. And they continue. We may say something similar about describing a woman as ka'ib in Arabic. It is not intended as an erotic physical description of any part of the woman's body, as much as it is intended as a description of the girl in terms of the emergence of the signs of femininity in her as an indication of her young age and youthfulness so that men would be attracted to her. At this age, the signs of femininity begin to appear in the girl. The point of using this word is not to describe the size of the breasts or to note their form or shape. Rather, the purpose is to highlight the woman's youthfulness. Ibn al-Jawzi, may Allah have mercy on him, said, the woman is a tifla, little girl, when she is small, walida, when she begins to walk, then a ka'ib, when her breasts begin to appear, then a nahid, when they increase in size, then masr, when she reaches the age of puberty, then khawd, when she reaches the age of a young woman. Did you catch that? She's a ka'ib when her breasts begin to appear, and that's 2 stages before she reaches the age of puberty. Here they consider menstruation as the beginning of puberty. Why is this significant? Well, according to their system, a ka'ib is a prepubescent girl. Doctors today treat budding breasts as a sign of early puberty. Breasts begin to form during Tanner stage 2. But in Islam, Tanner stage 2 is still prepubescent. What does this mean? Well, if the houris of paradise are all the same age, and they're all Tanner stage 2 forever, then according to Islam, every single Muslim man will spend eternity deflowering prepubescent girls.
And there it is. Right? There it is. That's the Islamic idea of perfection. According to the Muslim sources, that's the Islamic idea of perfection. Eternally sleeping with prepubescent girls. Muhammad did it. Right? Like, that is something that Muhammad did. People will try to say, well, you know, the phrase that she broke out into laughter meant she was pubescent, which there is no real evidence for that. And even Islam is divided on that. But it doesn't matter because they took her when she was playing with her dolls, which you can't do if you're pubescent. That's haram. That's forbidden. You have to be prepubescent to be playing with dolls. And she was playing with dolls when she was taken to the Prophet to be raped. The Islamic standard of perfection is raping children. In heaven, in paradise, that's what they believe. That's why those kindergartners in Minnesota had to wear hijab. It wasn't out of cultural defiance or whatever, because it's the ultimate cultural submission. It's showing that these women, these girls, these young children are property and are sexual. That's what that's demonstrating. that they are to be treated in sexual ways. We should not be surprised by that, because that is what the Islamic sources teach. And if Islam were to take over the West, that's what it would have. That's what we would have. We saw this with people like Daniel Hakikachu, right? Who famously debated Mike Jones and got absolutely shellacked because he essentially said that as long as she's pubescent, which, I mean, the Quran certainly makes no such requirement. Sorry, I'm pulling up a clip that I just remembered. And then we're going to talk about one more surah. Yeah, there it is. All right, sorry, hang on. All right. The point there being, if you are just going by the Islamic sources, those girls should be wearing hijab because they're of marriageable age. Right? That's right. I was saying Daniel Hakikachu argued for child marriage. He's a Western Muslim, and he argued for child marriage. He didn't attempt to say that Muhammad, didn't really marry a 6-year-old, or, she was not prepubescent at 9. She had reached maturity, which, I mean, at 9 years old, is highly unlikely, but precocious puberty does exist, which became a terrible point for him, because he was like, yeah, if the parents consent to it and she has gone through puberty, even if it's precocious puberty, then she can be married. She can be married off. And it's like, that's horrible, dude. That's so awful. And Mike Jones starts like dropping the number slowly, right? He starts at 5. He's like, if she's 5 and her parents say yes and she's precocious puberty, she can be married. And he's like, yes. It's like 4. And he's like, well, and he says 3. He's like, okay, now you're getting ridiculous. Right? That can't happen. And Mike Jones just goes, I have a case where it happened at 11 months. Right? The girl went through puberty effectively at 11 months. And if the parents consented, by Daniel's standard, that 11-month-old, not even a year old yet, not even a year ex utero, could be married off. That's the Muslim argument. That's the Muslim position. So I'll go ahead and let David finish, and then we have just a couple more things to look at.
Allah will make sure that all of these prepubescent girls are virgins every time the Muslim men have sex with them. And Muslim women who somehow make it to paradise will spend eternity watching their husbands deflower prepubescent girls. Allah is therefore the infinite Jeffrey Epstein, and his paradise is the infinite Epstein Island. Actually, now that I think about it, Muhammad was the one who was using these promises of an infinite Epstein Island to gain control over people. So Muhammad would be the infinite Jeffrey Epstein. Ghislaine Maxwell was the one who would recruit the girls. So Allah would be more like the infinite Ghislaine Maxwell. He's providing the girls. But remember, one of the reasons so many of us wanted the Epstein files released was that we wanted to know what sort of people were joining Epstein on his little island. Kind of makes you wonder what sort of people would be drawn to Islam by promises of an eternity of deflowering prepubescent girls. Sounds like someone needs to release the Islam files. Oh, wait, they already did.
Yeah. So that is D Wood's video. But he's not the only YouTuber to talk about this. So this is the man, the Mutta, the legend, Muhammad Hijab. Now, if you are unfamiliar with Muhammad Hijab, you are missing out on some genuinely good laughter. Muhammad Hijab is a Muslim dawah bro. For the uninitiated, dawah bro just simply refers to a guy who is way too cocky, way too arrogant, and is consistently just promoting Islamic lies. He should have done that here. He should have lied here. Because what he put out spread like wildfire. It went so viral. And it just proves exactly what we've been talking about. So I'm going to play a little bit of Muhammad Hijab here. This is just a minute and 50 seconds, so we'll just let it play. Exactly what the Muslim sources talk about, and just to prove that, you know, this is not just Christians making this up. This is not David Wood just pulling scholars out of context or Quran quotes out of context. This is their own Dawa guys on video talking about this exact kind of thing.
If you look just at the Quran, you will get the indication that you can have sexual intercourse with a 5-year-old. The reason why it's haram to have sexual intercourse with a 5-year-old is not found in the Quran at all. If you just read the Quran, it is halal. It would be halal to have sexual intercourse with a 5-year-old. Chapter 65, verse 4. Allah subhanahu.
Okay, and he's gonna recite it in Arabic for a sec, real quick. But let's just think about what he just said. Those girls in kindergarten, according strictly to the Quran, this is a Muslim saying this, right? The man speaking in this video right here, he is a very outspoken Muslim. He does Muslim apologetics for a living. That is his job, is to do Muslim apologetics. And he just said, if you only look at the Quran, you can get the idea that you can have sex with a 5-year-old. That is his statement, not mine, not David Wood's, not anyone else's. A Muslim apologist's statement that according to their book, it is okay to sleep with the girls that you saw earlier in the stream, the kindergartners, right? The kindergartners in their hijab at their graduation ceremony. Looking nice, looking adorable, right? As 5- and 6-year-olds are, right? Just cute little kids. That's all they should be. Should just be a aw, and you move on. But they're in hijab because, as Muhammad hijab says, the Quran allows you to sleep with them. Now, why is he saying that? He's arguing with what's called a Quran-only Muslim. So Muslims have one sacred scripture, that being the Quran, and then the Hadith are a collection of stories and clarifications and analyses regarding the Quran, as well as the life and teachings of Muhammad, right, the Prophet. Peace be upon him. And also that prophet is spelled Profit, because he was very interested in money, power, and sex. That's all Muhammad, illiterate 7th century caravan robber, to quote the man we just watched, David Wood, wanted. That's all he wanted, was just money, power, and sex. That's it. According to the Quran-only Muslims, this is his argument, who disregard the Hadith. They say the Hadith cannot be trusted. According to their, Muhammad Hijab is making the argument that according to them, you can have sex with a 5-year-old. The only reason it is not allowed to do that is found in the Hadith, right, where it says that the Hadith says that you cannot harm a girl during sex, right? That if you have sex with a girl too young, then you would harm her. That's the justification for you not having sex with her. Not that it's disgusting, it's immoral, it's awful, you shouldn't do it. Just, I mean, because duh. That you might split her, as it said, or as it says. You might actually just physically harm her. Not like you're going to beat her during the intercourse, but like you would actually, in the act, be like, you would harm her. Right? You would, again, as it says, split her. Those who don't know the female anatomy, I'll just say there is more than one hole. This is not where I expected the stream to go. And when you have intercourse, you use one. And I really did not expect to go this direction. And basically, he's saying that if you sleep with somebody too young, the two holes will become one, and that will be basically a life-ending injury. Especially in a time with no medical care, like the 7th century in Arabia. I mean, really 7th century anywhere, but specifically in Arabia, right? War-torn place. War-torn because usually Muhammad. Also the pagans somewhat. Credit where it's due, but mostly Muhammad. So that's the reason that you can't, in the hadith, that you cannot sleep with somebody who is young. I'm sure I would honestly not be surprised that at this point this stream has been taken off of YouTube. Because I just watched viewership which also would not be surprised given that what I just had to say in order to explain this disgusting, disgusting religion. I could understand if people clicked off. That would be fair. This probably will not stay on our channel. I'm guessing YouTube is going to just yoink. But anyways, so that is Muhammad Hijab's argument, that from the Quran, you can absolutely get the idea that you can sleep with a child. So we're going to let him finish here.
Allah Ta'ala tells us who you can divorce and who you cannot divorce. And then he says, وَاللَّائِ لَمْ يَحِدْنَ. وَاللَّائِ لَمْ يَحِدْنَ. And the ones who had never been pubescent before. And by the way, this is very important, yeah? I want all Muslims to be aware of this. The reason why we don't have sexual intercourse with 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds or whatever is not because of puberty. Wait a minute, what did you say? It's not because of puberty, because that verse in the Quran actually says lam yahid. They never had puberty before. You can't go around that. The Quran doesn't say anywhere in the Quran that the woman has to be pubescent. I dare you to find one verse in the Quran where it says you're not allowed to marry someone based on harm, or you're not allowed to have sexual intercourse based on harm, or you're not allowed to marry someone based on puberty. Get me one verse in the Quran which says the woman has to be pubescent. You know, in the Quran it says حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمْ أُمَّهَاتُكُمْ. It says you're not allowed to marry your mum. It says you're not allowed to marry your sister or your auntie. Where does it say you're not allowed to marry a prepubescent? I'm looking for one verse that you can say, you pinpoint it and say this is where it says prepubescent marriage or whatever is not allowed. So if you're Quran alone, you're steered towards pedophilia, a severe type of pedophilia, a wife abuse, a severe type of wife abuse.
So there you go. There's my YouTube recommended. Yes, I am a huge nerd. So let's fact check him here, right? We have Surah At-Talaq, which is the 65th surah, and it is regarding divorce, right? Who you can marry, who you can divorce, how long you have to wait between when a woman is divorced before you can marry her, because they were just passing women back and forth, really. So At-Talaq, the chapter on divorce, we'll just read 1 through 4. Well, actually, we'll read 1 through 5, actually, because that kind of damages them further. Starting in verse 1, O Prophet, instruct the believers when you intend to divorce women, then divorce them with concern for their waiting period, and count it accurately, and fear Allah, your Lord. Do not force them out of their homes, nor should they leave unless they commit a blatant misconduct. These are the limits set by Allah, and whoever transgresses Allah's limits has truly wronged his own soul. You never know, perhaps Allah will bring about a change of heart later. Then when they have, sorry, my mom texted me. Then when they have almost reached the end of their waiting period, either retain them honorably or separate them from them honorably, and call 2 of your reliable men to witness either way, and let the witness bear true testimony for the sake of Allah. This enjoined on whoever has faith in Allah and the last day, and whoever is mindful of Allah, he will make a way out for them, and provide for them from sources they could never imagine. And whoever puts their trust in Allah, then he alone is sufficient for them. Certainly Allah achieves his will. Allah has already set a destiny for everything. Here we go. Verse 4. Quote, as for your women past the age of menstruation, in case you do not know, their waiting period is 3 months. Okay, so if she's old, that was kind of rude. If she is advanced in years, if she has a lot of wisdom, then you have to wait 3 months. Quote, and those who have not menstruated as well, aka they are prepubescent. They are children. They're not forget the fact that, you know, they're still minors. They're not even pubescent. This is literally pedophilia. People toss around the word pedophilia. Their pedophilia does actually have a specific definition, which is attraction to children, and children are those who have not, who are not pubescent, right? Who are prepubescent. Attraction to children, pedophilia. Excuse me, right? It's the same kind of thing with P3DO Baptist, meaning you baptize children, right? You baptize infants. Same root, right? P3DO, meaning child, which is to indicate a child who has not hit puberty yet. This is literally pedophilia. Literally. By definition, pedophilia. And then he goes on, as for those who are pregnant, their waiting period ends with delivery. So you can marry a woman right after she gives birth. If her husband divorces her when she is pregnant, then you can marry her as soon as she gives birth. And whoever is mindful of Allah, he will make their matters easy for them. This is the commandment of Allah. This is the commandment of their God, which he has revealed to you. And whoever is mindful of Allah, he will absolve them of their sins and reward them immensely. This is horrifying. This is horrifying. You have to wait 3 months before you can pass your child bride off to another Muslim man. That's from the Quran. Let that sink in. I want to address any Muslim women who might see this. Please get out while you still can. There is a better way to live, a more true way to live, a way in which you are not trapped. I know it feels like there isn't one. And it's easy for me to say that as a Western man, to just get out and go. But there are women who have made it out. There are women who can help you. There are ministries who can help you to get out from under this. Muslimat, listen to me, please. You are not respected in your religion. You are not loved. You are used and abused. Now, maybe your husband does love you, but you are a slave to a religion in which he can never love you fully. Please, please, get out while you can. Don't be a slave anymore. If your husband truly loves you, then he will want you to be unleashed from the shackles of Islam. Muslim men, your turn. I'm not going to be as gentle here. How can you respect Muhammad as a man? As a man, how can you respect somebody who wants to rape children. That's not from me. That's from your sources. That's your guys' texts saying that. That's your guys' scholars saying that. As a man, that should boil your blood. As a man, you should want to hang him up by his damn ankles and beat the tar out of him. I know I just swore. I am holding back a lot. Men, Muslim men, read your own sources. Understand what they mean. Understand what they're saying. And if you truly love your wives and your daughters, as I know, as a man, I know you do, because I love my wife and my daughter. And God help any kind of man, any kind of pathetic creature who would try to hurt them in the ways that the Quran describes. Get them out. Get yourself out. You can be a better man than that. Please. There is a better way. You don't have to be what your prophet is. You don't have to be a monster. You can be better. Please. Save the women in your life. That's what I got for tonight. Sorry, it was a little bit of a heavier topic. Not as many jokes cracked, and I do apologize if I upset anybody with the language used right at the end there, but there's no other word that can go there. Well, there is one other word, but I really don't think you'd like that one. Hopefully, that did not dissuade you from subscribing and liking. If you want to see, well, probably not more content like this, but if you want to be more informed about Islam, especially as we move out throughout the month of July, leading up to the conference, shout out for that. The conference in Ohio, Lodi, Ohio. Josh and I will be going there. It is the 31st through the 2nd. We are going to be heading out, God willing, on the morning of the 31st to get there for an event that I believe is going to be taking place around 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I want to say. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. All are welcome, including Muslims. We had a few Muslims come last year, and it was really good. We had some good engagement. We had good discussions. Atun Tash literally cornered a man 3 times your size. It was great. But it's an awesome opportunity to come, to learn, to maybe meet Josh and I if you're interested in that, or, you know, like some other no names, like, I don't know, David Wood, Inspiring Philosophy, Mike Jones, Inspiring Philosophy, Atun Tash, as I mentioned, Vocab Malone, right? Guys that have been doing this for a long time. Truth Defenders is there, right? Like guys that have been doing this for a long time, very long time. And so if that sounds awesome to you, we'd love to see you there. And if you, for some reason, want to hear more of us, we do also have a Discord that you can go ahead and join. The link should be in the description below. I didn't put the link in the description below. I will edit this and get the link in the description below. You can also find it on basically any one of our videos. Dang it. I was so happy I set this all up nice and pretty for me. Oh, all right, whatever. But yeah, please come join the Discord. You do not have to be a Christian. We have several non-Christians in there. We have really good, engaging discussions between Christians and between people of different fades and worldviews. We would love to have you in there. We have channels for sports, gaming, political talk, if you're into that. We have theology talk. We have official debate channels. And then we have just one if you're just vibing, just stuff that you want to, if you just want to come, kick back, hang out for a little bit, we got stuff for that too. But yeah, so if that sounds interesting to you, please come and join. And with all that said, God willing, we will see you in the next video. God bless. Peace.
Yeah, yeah, I'm an apostle, haven't you heard? Getting revelation by Allah's word. Illiterate, can't spell unless you choke me well. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Getting freaky all day and night. Elsa rolled me to the daylight. Made me sword, then my slave wives. And I got a special friend, she barely under 10. Allah sent me a message, felt like fate. Said to marry Aisha before it's too late. Couldn't hold any longer, could no longer wait. I needed this girl I didn't want, no teens. I couldn't wait for the tween. That's too old for me, that's too old for me. That's too old for me. I don't want no teens. I couldn't wait for the tween. That's too old for me, that's too old for me. That's too old for me. I aim low, I aim true, yeah, 6 to where I go. My God gave me a dream where he showed my future wife playing with her dolls, I know. Oh, she's a total, babe, and I mean that in a literal way. Oh, I couldn't wait until the day, until she turned 9, inshallah, she looked fine. Allah sent me to like to make it okay. Fully consensual, totally not rape. People best sense the best, I won't hesitate. There will be no teens. I couldn't wait for the tween. That's too old for me, that's too old for me. That's too old for me. I don't want no teens. I couldn't wait for the tween. That's too old for me, that's too old for me. That's too old for me. I couldn't wait for the tween. That's too old for me, that's too old for me. That's too old for me.